to another episode of Witty CFB. Your host, Rob Sheply here. Now, on today's episode, we have Preston from Trash Talk Tailgate joining us to talk about Arkansas football. We're going to do Miami, Florida State preview, and also Bama and Vandy as well. Preston, dude, it's great to have you on again. We're really been looking forward to it, and definitely would be awesome for you to talk with everybody a little bit about your podcast as well.
Yeah, so I've been a Division I college football coach, and right now just not coaching right now, but focusing on my podcast, which is the Trash Talk Tailgate, which you should come see. We do live streams Sunday at 11:30 a.m. to talk about all the college football action from the weekend. Then we have our NFL wrap-up stream Tuesday at 2 p.m. where we talk about all the NFL action. And then we have our prediction stream, which is Friday at 7:30 p.m. to get you ready for all the football action for the weekend ahead. So that's what we do. We've got the best experts and analysis that you'll find anywhere. I've actually coached the highest level. I know what I'm talking about, and I just love talking ball. And if you think you know better than me, then come talk shit to me. I don't care. I welcome that. Please come talk shit to me. Tell me where I'm wrong. I'm probably not going to be wrong, but I'll still listen to you. So, yeah, just come check out the Trash Talk Tailgate on all social media platforms.
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing that with everybody, and I'll put all your social media links in the bio as well, so everybody can check that out. But
appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, obviously the big news on Sunday was Sam Pittman getting fired, and it was a rough outing against Notre Dame. I mean, they gave up about 650 yards of offense, and when I did cover Arkansas a couple months ago, Sam Pittman's is one of those dudes that he just fits the mold of what you look for in an Arkansas coach so well, and he's also just such a great freaking dude that you just want him to succeed. And it just seems like one of those things where there was just no more rope anymore, and I think they just kind of had to make the move. So, Preston, with that said, what are your general reaction to Arkansas firing Sam Pittman? And then secondarily, who do you anticipate them going after as well?
Like you said, Sam Pittman is the guy that you root for. He's definitely a guy that you'd like to go have a beer with, just to, listen to him and talk with him. And I've always really liked Sam Pittman. I think he was a really good offensive line coach when he was at Georgia. I think Georgia would love to have him back because their offensive line has not been good this year. But I don't know if it's really fair to Sam Pittman, though, because Arkansas's athletic director has literally come out and said, we are not giving our football program the resources that it needs to compete. So how is that Sam Pittman's fault? Their defense is awful. And Jeremiah Love ran wild for them this past weekend. But, I mean, they don't have any players on defense. And I think now you have Bobby Petrino. And how's that going to work out? It looks like Bobby Petrino is really trying to position himself to take over the job full time, not just be the interim through this year. But it looks like he's really trying to position himself. He's already fired a bunch of the defensive staff, including the defensive coordinator. So, I don't know. Like, it just kind of seems like a mess at Arkansas right now.
Yeah, I have to agree with you too, because I was watching that press conference that you're talking about where, athletic director Hunter Yurachek pretty much said, hey, we haven't given them the resources that we need, and we're going to do whatever it takes, I guess, to get there. Because I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like, hey, if you're willing to pay tens of millions of dollars to poach John Calipari to come over and coach your basketball team, there's nothing stopping you from paying a buyout of what was it, like $10 million, just shy of $10 million, something for Sam Pittman. Maybe pay a little bit more to get rid of the assistants and everything. So, but I think one thing that I think gets overlooked about this Arkansas job too, and I'm sure you'll elaborate on this too, is I think Arkansas is way more of an attractive job than people give it credit for. Because especially when you look back and you think of the Chad Morris era, for example, compared to where they are now. I mean, say what you will about, hey, they didn't beat some big time opponents in the SEC, but the reality is after Sam Pittman has left, the job is more attractive than it was when he got there. So I think just kind of looking at it in that lens, but at the same time too, I think it's a really big crapshoot in terms of who they go after. Because to me, there really isn't an obvious candidate. I mean, we'll get to that in a couple seconds, but I think there's a lot of different directions they can go.
I disagree with you. I don't think Arkansas is that attractive. I think they're a Big 12 school and an SEC conference that just is better than them overall. Like they don't have elite level SEC talent, and it's really hard to get them there, which is why if I was Arkansas, I would try to get a young up and coming coach and be like, hey, we'll pay you, 2.5 million, maybe 3 million, whatever. And we're going to give you a really good staff. We're going to spend some money on a really good staff to help you around you. But then the rest of the savings that we're going to get from not getting a huge big name coach, we're going to put towards the roster and NIL, because they need to upgrade their roster. Because it's like the athletic director said, they don't have an SEC level roster and resources right now. And I mean, Notre Dame's lost 2 games this year, but I mean, Ole Miss, you've got to deal with Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, Florida's down, but you've still got Auburn. And you've got all these SEC programs that are just historically and traditionally and currently better than you. So you have to make an effort to improve the roster first and foremost. As they're never going to leave the SEC because of the TV revenue money that they get, but they're a Big 12 school. Like, they would be a much better fit in the Big 12.
Yeah,
they'd be a lot more competitive in the Big 12.
Yeah, because I mean, you brought up a really good point in the sense that part of Arkansas's big problem too, is you just mentioned a couple seconds ago, is the reality is that their top guys get poached every single year. Yeah. So when you're kind of in that middle tier, like, yes, it's attractive in the sense that you get to play those top opponents every year. And yes, you have an entire state that you get to recruit. But when it comes to October, November, just like what we're talking about, you have to go up against those big dogs. And when you don't have the resources and the nucleus to kind of get you there, it's just kind of an uphill battle. So you kind of ask yourself, hey, would I rather be competing against the top dogs in the country, knowing that I need 3-4 years minimum to get you there? Or would you rather go like the Rhett Lashlee route, for example, where he goes to a school like SMU, or you go to a Big 12 and you dominate there for a couple seasons and then try your run at the SEC?
It's really hard to win there because not only are you at, a resource disadvantage, but you're just, it's really hard to recruit there. There's not a lot of in-state talent. You have to go out of state. Like, a lot of Arkansas players come from Texas or Louisiana or Mississippi. Like, there's not a lot of great talent there. And it's just, you're in the SEC. Like, if you're Arkansas, wouldn't you be happier being actually competitive in the Big 12? Because to me, they're a Big 12 school. They're always going to be at or near the bottom of the SEC in terms of everything. And it's really hard to win there. So like some of the big name coaching names, like you brought up Rhett Lashlee. I think Arkansas wants to make a push for Rhett Lashlee. I don't know if you want to get in a bidding war with SMU with all their, fuck you money, but it's just all their fuck you oil money. But if you're Rhett Lashlee, or if you're Alex Golesh, or if you're John Summerall, or even Ryan Silverfield at Memphis, would you take the Arkansas job right now? Or would you wait for a Florida to inevitably come open? Or would you wait for Auburn to probably come open? Like, which job do you think is better?
Yeah, because I think that's kind of where your issue is, because all those guys are solid coaches and everything. But if they wait a little longer, you are right. The Auburns or the Floridas of the world are going to come up too, because if you're Arkansas, you can really go one of two ways, right? Mm-hmm. Like what you suggested earlier, you can go for the young and up and coming guy. Like, for example, I'm a huge fan of GJ Kenny over at Texas State. I think he would be a phenomenal hire, or even Eric Morris over at North Texas. I think either one of those two dudes would be fine, even though they don't necessarily have a connection to the school or anything, or this is a little bit more outlandish. And I know some people are gonna get pissed off when they hear this, but maybe you have to go big or go home, and maybe go after Jon Gruden. And I know that's not a name that people really want to hear, but if you are serious about football and you really want to get some ass in some seats, I think Jon Gruden makes all the sense of the world. He can put a staff together. He's going to be invigorated, and quite frankly, I think I think he can recruit his ass off too if he had to.
We don't know that. He's never coached college football. He won a Super Bowl in the NFL back in 2002. And so I don't know. I think Arkansas might do that but I don't think that's a serious football hire. You don't know what Jon Gruden's going to be like in college football. I think they might do that because they realize we're not going to get any of the other options that we'd like because Auburn or Florida or even Kentucky might come open. I don't know. I don't think Jon Gruden is a serious football hire. And then the other thing is you got John Calipari and you're trying to compete in baseball as well. Arkansas has a pretty good baseball program. There's only so much money you can ask your donors to donate to different sports. So is Arkansas just going to be content being not great at football, but going all in on basketball and maybe some other sports? That has to be a conversation.
Yeah, I mean, what you basketball, baseball, and they also have a phenomenal track program there as well. That's why I think if you're Arkansas, you either have to swing for the fences and go after a Gruden or try to poach someone from the ACC or the Big Ten, or you just have to say, you know what, we're going to go the Mississippi State route and hire a guy like a Jeff Lebby, like a equivalent of a Jeff Lebby in this year's coaching cycle. But it's tough though. But I do think there are some more benefits to the job. I'm not going to sit there and say it's a Big 12 job. I think that's a little. I think that's harsh, just kind of given just kind of the history of the program and all that.
I know, but now in today's SEC, they're not what they used to be. Right now, in terms of the program, they are the equivalent of a Big 12 school, just in terms of how non-competitive they are in the SEC.
Yeah, I mean, it, of course, it doesn't help too that Texas and Oklahoma is there too.
No, and you're going to a 9-game conference schedule. It's going to get worse.
And then 10 power schools that they have to play now.
Yeah,
I think one of the non-conferences have to be that too. Yeah,
they played Notre Dame this year. They play Utah next year. They go to Utah next year. If you have to know what you are and you have to schedule accordingly. They're scheduling big out-of-conference games that they're going to lose. So, if you watch what Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss do, they schedule 4 cupcakes that they know we're going to win and we're going to beat the shit out of them. Because that raises our overall floor in terms of record. And Arkansas doesn't do that. They're not scheduling like they should be.
that's the catch-21, right? Is either you can beat Penn State or Indiana and schedule bullshit teams every year in terms of your non-conference, or you can sit there and say, you know what, like Iowa State, for example, or, Arkansas, they're actually going to schedule some heavy hitters in terms of the non-conference. So, I mean, I get there has to be some BS games because, if there isn't, then all these small schools aren't going to be able to go through an entire football season. Yeah. But then too, it is kind of fun to be able to have those kind of bigger games too. But I'm not surprised that Arkansas got their ass beat this weekend. It just seems like a team that just quit, but it's unfortunate that Sam Pittman is kind of the fall guy for that, because to me he's the perfect guy in terms of what Arkansas football would be to me.
I mean, Rob, they lost to Memphis.
Yeah.
Memphis is a group of 5 school. They're a really good group of 5 school, but they're still a group of 5 school. I mean, I don't know. The last time they were consistently good was with Bobby Petrino. And that's the other thing. The other point I wanted to make was I think I like them doing this now because they're not going to get better. They're not going to get drastically better overnight. And I think if Bobby Petrino has a terrible record at the end of this year as the interim, fans are not going to be clamoring to hire him full time. I think that's smart.
Oh, I don't think there's any shot he's going to get the full-time job.
I think he really
thinks
wants
there's a
the
chance, and I
full-time
think he's telling
job.
everyone that. But I don't. If I'm Arkansas, I don't think there's any way I would ever offer him the full-time job again. I don't. To me, that just seems like a bad idea. Running all over it.
And also, like, I will give Arkansas credit for this because I don't know if you noticed. So they lose to Memphis 2 weeks ago, and then they get their ass kicked by Notre Dame. And now they're 5 games into the season, and then they fire their coach, which was smart because now all their players can't go in redshirt to go, enter the portal.